Hey, listeners, my name is Elisha, the founder of the Witnesses podcast. It's so beautiful to have you listening to our podcast, and I want you to know something that means a whole lot to me. Thank you for tuning in. And one thing I love to tell all of our listeners is it's not just about you listening, but listening to understand. Understanding is the most important thing, so important. So, you have to listen, learn, and practice. Thank you so very much and happy listening. Hi, Brodie. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Good to meet you. Yeah, how are you doing?
Doing fine as well. That's it, good.
Yeah.
Okay, Brodie, oftentimes I love to talk about the essence of this show, which is to invite amazing guests, amazing guests like Brodie to come talk to us about their triumphant stories because we believe that in our audience, there might be some people who are stuck up in a situation that Brodie came out of triumphantly. So by those people getting to listen to you speak, they might actually pick some information from your words. I mean, the ones you'll be saying here today that might eventually lead to their transformation. So it's all about transforming lives, yeah, transformation and all of that. So, Brody, within the next few minutes, let us get started with your story, the challenges that you faced, and how you overcame them. Okay, and afterwards, I've got just three questions for you. Okay, Brody, over to you.
Okay. I'm sorry. Where did you there's a little bit stuff with audio. Where did you want to start?
Oh, okay. I mean, the challenges that you faced, whatsoever, anything at all that you faced, the challenges that you faced. Did you get that? And how you overcame them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd say the biggest challenge yet has been from probably 2020 on. So in 2020, I was, the world kind of changed for a lot of people, but with that, I think it changed a lot more for even me. My youngest daughter's mom passed away, and during that time, I was also in graduate school, about to finish my doctorate, and kind of everything got shut down. So my world changed a lot. We couldn't work in the clinic as I was an intern. I couldn't finish school. Also, with losing my daughter's mom and the kind of world shutting down, I just decided that we were going to pick up and we weren't going to be locked at our house. We weren't going to sit around and kind of be sad and told what to do. So I sold everything. I moved to Mexico. And then with that, in Mexico, we were there for about a year and we were going to actually move to North Africa. We are going to move to Casablanca. And then we got a notice saying that no flights were allowed because there was another outbreak. No flights were allowed because we had to stop in Vancouver or maybe in Toronto and then go over to, I think, Paris and then make our way over. But with that, then just we ended up back in Northern California here, just trying to, get my daughter's life together, trying to kind of rebuild from here. So,
Okay. So shall we dive into the questions now, Brody?
yeah, yeah,
Go.
we could do it for sure. Yeah.
All right. So, can you talk to us about the pioneers of MMA? I mean, the early days. Can you?
The early, the early
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
the early days were kind of wild, man. I remember when I think I was maybe in junior high or something, and I remember seeing like I don't know in the United States they used to have like the VHS tapes in like a section where they had like all like kind of adult stuff. Like there was the normal movies and then there was like UFC. And I remember seeing one of the videos. I rented it, and I thought like, man, this is kind of crazy. Like I don't think I'd want to do that. And then and it's crazy. And then I ended up finishing high school. I got really into working out, and I wanted to learn how to box, but there wasn't really any boxing gyms where I was at. So I started training with some grapplers, with some, kickboxers, just kind of mix it together. I loved it. Ended up going and doing kind of bare knuckle fights in Tijuana, which is in Mexico. And it just from there, I mean, it was kind of more underground. There wasn't really money in it. You just did it because you wanted. Also, you didn't know, like, you couldn't research who you're fighting. You would just kind of show up and you end up, you don't know if they're tough, you don't know who they are, you don't know the style, like people used to lie about stuff. Promoters were shady. I remember times like one time I fought in Vegas and I ended up getting some stitches, and then I ended up getting like a creditor calling me because the promoter didn't pay the bill for me to go to the hospital after the fight to get the stitches. And
Ooh.
so
Ooh.
there's, yeah, so it was like, I think I got paid $800 to fight, but I think the medical bills were like 1,300 or something. So, there was just, yeah, a lot of, I mean, it was just, yeah, it was definitely different and kind of, more wild back then. And it was fun. I do miss it, but, yeah, it's changed a lot too. Changed a lot. No.
Okay, okay, how do I put it, curious. So how is it now? How is it now? Can you talk to us about the
Yeah.
nature of it now? Yeah,
Yeah, now it's much more official. I mean, there's the commissions and drug testing, and the fighters, at least some of them are making serious money. They're making good money. Even the lower level guys, I don't think they're
yeah,
making enough per se, but they are getting paid. It's a lot better than it was back in the day. The only thing that I think's gone down is maybe the sponsorships for the lower guys. But besides that, it's also better athletes since it was a newer sport. Everyone gets to kind of build on each other. So now, I mean, the guys, back when I was doing it, usually people would have kind of like one thing they were good at. There was, like eras of the wrestlers, of the strikers, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. But now, most people are pretty good at everything. So, yeah, any guy that's like at high level MMA, he's going to be a good striker. He's a good wrestler. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He might not have amazing things at each one, but he's pretty good all around. And so it's pretty impressive how it's been now.
wow,
And just the
wow,
athletes too.
okay.
The
Oh, yeah, yeah.
athletes are better. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, all right. So let us talk about world travel and different cultures. Did you
Mhm.
travel a lot?
Yeah, I've traveled a ton. I've spent a lot of time. So I spent about 2 years total over a bunch of different trips in Thailand, which I
Wow.
love Thailand. And so for being there, I've gone to, Thailand, Cambodia. Uh, I've been spent time in Japan a few months. I spent time in China,
Really?
Hong Kong, Macau. I didn't really, honestly, I didn't really like Hong Kong or
Mm.
Macau. Singapore, Malaysia. Singapore's awesome. I didn't like Malaysia. Lived in Mexico for like a year. I've spent a lot of time in Brazil. I've spent, yeah, Morocco. We were going to move there. I'm trying to think, Costa Rica. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time overseas, and I think it's been super important in my life and getting to see different cultures and experience different things. And really, yeah, I actually I had no plans of coming back to the United States. So when I left, I didn't think we were coming back. We just had to get my daughter a new passport, and
Okay.
because to get into Morocco, you needed 6 months, and she only
Mm.
had like 4 months before it expired, and then problems happened, and they basically wouldn't let us in. But um, yeah, I think it's highly important and been a huge part of my life and something I'll continue to do. So we're actually going back to Mexico for a few weeks in about 10 days. So
Oh, I think you love Mexico, right? And also,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, how were you able to adjust to those different cultures? You know?
Yeah, I've never had an issue at all. Everyone's been amazing. I mean, Mexico, we're bordering Mexico. They're like, the cultures are similar. That's never been an issue. Brazil, I love Brazil. A lot of my best friends are Brazilian. Anytime I hear a Brazilian accent, I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
probably be friends with that person. Um, Same thing. Like, I mean, Morocco was awesome. Thailand, they're super welcoming. Everyone there is super nice. The only place
Oh,
I've ever felt like they didn't want me there was in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. That was the only place that I ever felt like that the locals didn't like me and that they weren't welcoming. But besides
mm,
that, everywhere else in the world's been amazing. So,
amazing. Beautiful. Okay. Um, I still have one more or two more questions here. So, can you talk to us about the heavy price of going against the COVID narrative. Did you get that?
Yeah, yeah. It was for me. It was a huge price. I mean, I was getting my doctorate, and it takes a long time to get your doctorate, and it's expensive here. And so I spent, I mean, there's the 4 years of undergrad, which was separate, but then to get the doctorate, it's another 3 to 4 years. And I was almost done. But when they reopened, they wanted everyone to wear masks. They wanted everyone to get vaccinated, get tested, and I refused. So I wouldn't wear a mask. I wouldn't get tested. I wouldn't get a vaccine. So basically, I couldn't go back to school. So I went to school for all those years, but then I wasn't able to get my degree. There was also the cost of not being locked in a house and following the rules and going against it. So I sold everything and moved to a different country. So financially, it was hard. I mean, as far as there was all the work that got put into schooling, there was all basically having a condo, having all the vehicles. And then when I left, although prices were low, and then when I came back and had to rebuy stuff, all the prices were way higher. So financially, and just there was, just a lot of negativity and everything around there. So yeah, the price was definitely high, and emotionally, how they shut down, like funerals, they shut down so much in that time, and I believe it was the wrong thing to do.
Mm. Now getting to realize and see you, now you overcame that stuff. How is your daughter and what's her name? If you like to tell us her
Her
name.
name's Yeah, her name's Layla. Yeah, she's
Leila. Okay.
13. Yeah, she's going to
Oh,
school here now. She's at kind of like art school. She likes yeah, she's doing well. We've got the dogs. She was the main reason why we're here. So our plan was to leave, and then when we
yeah.
couldn't get into Morocco, she was like, "Hey, well, can we stay here? And I want to go to school." And then I was like, "Okay, we can go to school for until June, and then when summertime, then we're leaving. We're leaving the United States." And then she really wanted to stay, so I said, "Okay, we can stay." And then, trying to we got house, the dogs, and kind of reacclimating and getting stuff going. So she's doing pretty good.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. Okay, so Brody, in conclusion, let's say there is one piece of advice you love to give to the audience. What would that be? And let's say there are someone's listening who would love to maybe follow you on social media or get to know you better. How can that be possible?
As far as advice, I would say more than anything is to just follow what you love, no matter what the cost is, because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself, and those little things, every time you don't do what you know you're supposed to do, it adds up and it really weighs you down. So just get up every day. Don't wait for the motivation. Just know what you need to do it, and be the person that you can live with every day. And as far as just following me, social media, I guess is the best way nowadays. Brodie underscore Farber on Instagram. I also have a Facebook account too, but that's probably the best place. That's where I'm the most active. So,
Beautiful. That advice is actually a very beautiful one and important. I love that. Okay, Brody,
uh,
I want to ask you something. Will it be
anything.
possible for, yeah, will it be possible for me to have you on the show again?
Yeah, most
Do you?
definitely. Anytime you want. Yeah,
All
anytime.
right, beautiful,
Yep.
beautiful. Because I feel like
All
we
right.
still got some certain things to talk about. Okay, so that's
Yeah, I
gonna be
think.
the end of the show, Brody. Okay, you
All
wanted to
right.
say
Sounds
something?
good, man. I was just saying anytime we can dive into whatever you want to dive into. So,
Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you for your time, man. Thank you for honoring the
all right.
invite, and thank you for coming. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anytime, man. All right.
Thank you for tuning in to this incredible episode. Your support means the world to us, and we truly value you. We look forward to having you join us for the next episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.